are we?
We're on our first hike in Ouray, and we heard it's pronounced Ouray. So this is the shortest hike available here. It's I think it's at a 0.3. I'm gonna see if that's true, but until you get to the Cascade Falls, it looks like a crowd's heading up. Must be easy.
Time to leave. Off we go. And 0.3 miles later, we have summited Cascade Falls. There they are. Lower Cascade Falls. That's a fall, though. It's a decent fall. There's Carola the Explorer. And over here is the 5.3 mile perimeter trail. This one goes all the way around Ouray. There's a view. You can see it comes all the way around and back down here.
Cascade Falls in Ouray, so we're about 7,000 feet up. Not quite a hike, but
not bad, eh?
yeah.
Hard to top this. And it's an easy trail. We're on the descent. We just went up to Cascading Falls, and we ran a little piece of the trail that goes across here, Ice Lakes, or I think is the name. And we're gonna go pick up a big 5.3 mile tomorrow. Ice Lakes shows 8 miles and hard, so might put it on your list. Carol makes it look fashionable.
My REI.
There you go.
Here's to you, REI. Okay, so we're getting ready to start our long trek here in Ouray. We are starting with the perimeter trail that goes all around the little town of Ouray. It is a total of 5.5 miles, I believe. It may be 6. We're going to start at the hardest part. So if you pan around, you can kind of see the stairs that we're going to be climbing up. That evidently the first mile or so is the hardest. After that, it's pretty moderate, but as you can see, there's some steep cliffs. I hope we're not on the edge of that. But so we're ready to go. It's a beautiful day. Looks like it's going to be about high of 62. So perfect for hiking. Bright sun. It's just fabulous.
Let's get on the trail then.
Okay.
Bye. So there's the overview of the scenic perimeter trail. Here is a great map of the perimeter trail. And the visitor center in Ouray is right up here. And we're going to hike it, I think, clockwise, which should give us the hard part first. And then you're back around over here. We did already get to the cascading falls. And so that's right here. We hiked a short one yesterday there. This,
3 waterfalls.
ooh.
2 bridges. So
3 waterfalls and 2 bridges.
There's a high bridge. I believe there's a low bridge. There's the High Point Lookout. And then 2 to 3 waterfalls. So
Hey, it sounds like a fabulous one. The Ouray, in case you're curious, or Ouray, an 1870 picture of the chief. Here's the first overlook on the perimeter trail. And we probably made, what do you think it is, 500 vertical?
230.
We've got 1,400, I think, today to get all of it.
We're a mile up.
So, yep, we thought we'd take a pause and kind of scope out the scenery. It looks familiar, and it's close to where the Cascading Falls cuts in, right?
Okay, we're back at Cascading Falls, and I think the temperature has dropped about 10 degrees in the water, but it's fabulous.
Windy up here. Yep, we've worked our way back around. We started yesterday here and went back. Today we came from the visitor center and went forward. We're going clockwise around the 5.4 mile circle here called the Perimeter Trail in Ouray. Visitor center swimming pool. So we made this whole hike, and then you come down here. This is Cascade Falls right here. We've made it all the way down to here. There's another trail here that the perimeter connects to. It's called Baby Bathtubs. And it's essentially slick rock that's been carved out, and Norm, who we talked to, says you could slide on your butt all the way through it. It looks like a rough ride to me. There's some rock climbers coming up through Baby Bathtub. And there's Corolla the Explorer leading the way. How you feeling?
Good. I'm ready
You're
to go.
25% of the way. Off we go. Well, that looks like Baby Bathtub's upline. You can see how steep that canyon is. This is a little up from where we were. Let's It's a pretty good fall down through there. And here's the bridge, just past Baby Bathtubs. A little under 2 miles in. Looks like they've done some updates. There's the standard trail marker sign. Over we go. Well, we just intersected the Portland trailhead. Creeping up on 2.5 miles in.
You're here.
Yep. And it looks to me like we have to cover. We started, where is it? Hot Springs back here. So we've done all this.
So Portland goes back this direction.
Here we are.
To the mine.
Oh, yeah. And then we're going to come down here and get around that Box Canyon.
Oh, cool. We get to see Box Canyon.
And then the yellow trail goes all the way back up here.
Not
and we
bad.
stop at the
I would
Hot
say
Springs.
we're almost half. You are.
Yeah, likely. Well, there's the Fair Country sign. Ouray Perimeter Trail above that. Bears smell food from miles away. Stash your trash.
Woohoo! Look at that.
Well, we're up here. This is somewhere about 2.5 miles in on the Ouray Perimeter Trail, so pretty cool up here.
Yeah, if you look way over there, I don't know if you can see it, there's a tunnel right through that rock. That's part of the $1 Million Highway. And we're going to try to take a little bit of that if we get brave. But yeah, you can see we're at the top of the world here. Well, that's a little higher up there, but
We're going to have to cross that road.
we're pretty high. That's the $1 Million Highway there. Wrapping around. And as far as the eye can see, wow. All the aspens, so you know we're up high. They only grow in high elevations, especially that tall. And here we got Mr. Shop. He made it.
This is a pretty challenging climb.
Are you feeling it?
Yep, but I'm good.
Any words of advice?
Yes, onward. We're about 3 miles in on the Perimeter Trail, and if you look up to the center of the frame, there's the waterfall shooting over the rocks and some sort of a wood structure behind it, like an overlook. And there is the bridge. And this is some cold water. The temperature here is about, 10 degrees lower than where we were. It's coming through here pretty fast. Somewhere around 3.5 miles up here in the Ouray Perimeter Trail is this pipeline that they've built on the side of the mountain. It is suspended by cables that are hammered into the rock with pitons and then strapped to the mountain, hanging over the ledge of this cliff. Penstock. But if you look across the face to the man with the yellow backpack and the white helmet, they're doing technical climbs down the rock face. And if you notice, there's a clip-in carabiner crossing, steel cable down there where all those yellow signs are. Down there at the bottom is where you cross with the your safety cable on those handrails. There he is. The water is going through and there's a lot of mist. Very cool. And look, there's more mountaineers coming right down the canyon. Oh, here's a new team here. Look down in the very bottom of the canyon. This route is managed by Friends of the Ouray via Ferrata. Please report any issues. We are on all trails, and there we are, headed up the path, so everything's good. Yeah, pretty spectacular. Ready to cross? Let me go behind you here. Watch your head. Well, here's the... God, look at this. Let's just get a look down there. That's got to be a couple of 100 feet. Box Canyon, that's kind of cool. There's the bridge backwards. There's the fall over the side. And we're headed through. Yep, kind of cool here too. Alright, we're on the way in. Oh, out you come. And on the backside of the canyon is this elevated staircase. All right, we're at 4.9 miles. This is a 5.4 mile climb, and we just did another, what would you think that was, 300 or 400 vertical?
Yeah.
So the vertical meter on all trails shows about 1,400 now vertical, and you can see we're pretty far above the town down there. That's Ouray, and Carol has just summited this last hill. And so that then puts us on the downward climb for the last, I think it's about a half mile to get back to the visitor center, and we will have completed the loop. And we have been up in the mountains and over bridges and over creeks and streams and rivers. There's the perimeter trail sign. And so it's been an adventure. This is the last leg. Probably a pretty steep drop because we're up about 500 feet from where we bottomed out. Woo! I don't think you'd survive that. No. So step wisely.
I think you would roll right over that hill.
Yes. Agreed.
The tree might catch you.
I think this is going to be pretty steep, so I'm going to put the camera up so I can... Well, that's about 5 miles. We just came down a steep, gravelly dirt trail. That was fun. And now we are at another waterfall, number 3. Off we go. Onward. There's the Reynolds. Ah! 2-seaters, 4-seaters. Colorado West, that's not the one he used. Little Switzerland was the name of the one that those guys used. These are all kinds of great usage. Jeeps available. We got a bunch of them up here. Ray-Ban. Lots of rentals here. Downtown Ouray. Kind of up on the higher end of the street. There he goes. Here comes the log trucks. This is RV Shop and Chef having dinner with you at New Mexico here in Ouray. But anyway, yeah. So I think what we were going to talk about today was what were the lessons learned that we got from our trek there in Ouray, which was the perimeter. It's kind of a famous hike here. It's called the Ouray Perimeter Trail. And so we thought maybe we would just give you some, the tips and tricks about what you would do on the Ouray Perimeter Trail.
Yeah, so Ouray Perimeter Trail starts out ideally at the visitor center. Although there's several areas around the town that you can join it, it's probably the easiest clockwise route if you start at the visitor center. So it's a perimeter trail that goes all around the town, and it is 5.5 miles long.
If you're doing a 5.7 mile, 1,428 foot vertical 6-hour hike, you probably ought to be pretty well prepared. So the first thing I think I noticed was just make sure you have the right shoes and good socks. And we're using Merrells for our shoes, and so I think I have the waterproof Merrells that are ankle high. Carol uses the lower foot size, below the ankle Merrell.
Which didn't always serve me well in the snow.
She had snow piling in her shoe. So the other thing is a full sock.
Yeah.
And we're using smart wool socks that we get at REI. Love those socks. Is with your pack, we use what makes our pack?
Mine's a lightweight
Osprey.
Osprey, yeah.
It's a day pack for us, for a hike like this. But we have a tent in a little bucket. It is I think we got it at REI. And it is literally a tent in what looks like a quart. It's an emergency tent. It's in a quart-size ice cream bucket. That's really what it looks like. So I'm going to say that if you're doing 5 miles or more, pack it with you, just as safety, so that you'll have cover. Yeah.
Also, make sure you bring plenty of snacks with you, because you're exerting about 500 to 600 calories an hour, and you don't realize it, but you'll want some high protein snacks, peanut butter sandwiches or fruit, just to keep you going on the trail, because all of a sudden you'll be hungry.
I think the next thing we're going to talk about was water. And for us, I think the Osprey packs use We've been packing these little 12-ounce bottles of water, and we carried 3 of them on this particular trek and probably should have had 4 or 5. Anyway, we'll come back to you with the bladders on the day packs from Ouray, but I would make sure you had plenty of water, and probably it's something like 2 quarts per person.
Also, your sunscreen, make sure you have your protection on before you go, because in higher altitudes, the UVA rays are much more strong, so you want to be sure that you have a really good sunscreen protection on.
Yep. I think the next topic we talked about was All Trails, and we use the All Trails app on our cell phones. I have an iPhone. Carol has an iPhone, and so find your map, or find your trail. It will likely have a number to identify, so it could be something like the Ouray Perimeter Trail 201 or something like that. So when you go to All Trails, look for that, open the app, and then go to search in my area, wherever you are, and then search for the trail name, the exact trail name that you know it to be, and it likely has an index number of some sort, like All Trails 2, or like the Ouray Perimeter Trail 201. And look that up before you lose your internet connection, and then download the fixed map. And this is just a static map, but if you're lucky enough to have a connection the entire time that you're hiking, it is a fabulous GPS that allows you to see where you are on the map. And so it is super. It can even give you 3D relief. So look up All Trails, but download your map, find the hike you're going to do, know what that trail name and its number is, then look that up in All Trails. I'd just be thoughtful about the fact that if you're late on a trail, then you may be the last car there, and it's parked. For instance, the Blue Lakes Trail that we did today was 8 miles up in the National Forest. And if your car is dead and you happen to be late on the trail and coming down, then you might be the only person there and you have a car problem. So I would suggest start early. Get on the trail early enough that if you have issues with either your trail, you get lost on the map, you don't have the right, whatever circumstances, you have a buffer. One of the other things I did suggest was that we carry a small flashlight. I have a headlight that Carol gave me, elastic headband with a headlight on it. Love that flashlight. That, and I always carry a knife, a first aid kit.
We both have bear spray.
We have bear spray, and I carry for both of us moleskin in case you get a blister on your foot.
Well, for me, I got my feet really wet, so you want to make sure and bring an extra pair of socks.
What a great idea is that? So that's the last suggestion. That is one of the very best, which is a dry pair of socks. Now, one thing I always say is on top of that, if you can fit it in your pack, Carol says that I would carry an iron lung if I could.
Truth.
But if you can fit it in your pack, a waterproof jacket, no matter what. Just rain comes, it's probably the best thing.
Mm-hmm. Other than that, I think hit the trail, have fun.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoy the health benefits. It's one of the best exercises you can do as long as the weather's nice. It's good for cardio, it's good for balance, it's good for cognition because you have to really think about what you're doing on the trail, watch your steps. So it really tackles all of those elements that you want for a good workout. So.
Yep, and then have good equipment. We have trekking poles from Trail Buddy, and so just have the right equipment with you.
Yeah.
I think that's it from us for now.
Okay.
So.
We're going to enjoy our great meal from Mexico.
My God, look at this food. It is phenomenal. All right, we're going to have a great dinner now.
Cheers.
Cheers.